So what I'm going to show you today is the new Kits module. Kits allows you to track supplies for kits, so kit components, lots and expiration dates. Define templates for kits, either however you want to do it, by study and visit. You can define a template that says what goes in the kit. To build kits, fill those kits with the supplies, and send kits to collection sites, and also define the collection sites by study. Kits are received back in incoming shipments, so you can receive kits in incoming shipments and use the kit contents to populate the shipment batch. Currently, the kit module is on the BSI demo database. If you are interested in it, it's a simple RFE, much like subjects, to add to any new database. After the webinar, if you'd like to send an email to BSI Feedback or me, we'll be happy to set you up with a user account on demo so you can try it out yourself. So the first thing I'd like to show you is the role permissions. So there are several new role permissions for adding kits. If I go to the roles and press new, and then I'm going to go expand the client permissions, I can see there's a new section for roles, for kits, including access to the kit manager, and then permissions broken down by being able to add and edit collection centers, to being able to add, edit, and send kits in your inventory, being able to add and edit supplies for those kits, and being able to add and edit and delete kit templates. So a whole host of new permissions and roles. And now I'm going to go to the Kits module. As you can see, it's a multi-manager module. We're moving to multi-manager modules for a couple of modules in the system, including subjects and consent, which I showed yesterday. In the module, we have supply, center, templates, and inventory tabs. Again, supplies lets you create supplies, lots, or groups of supplies to put in kits. Centers lets you create the collection centers by study that you're sending kits to. Templates lets you create a template to fill a kit, so it says basically what components go in the kit and how many of each component go in the kit. And then inventory lets you create kits using those templates, lets you send out kits, and also notifies you when kit components are expired, when the kit becomes expired. So let's go ahead and start with supplies. As you can see, it's a typical BSI manager. You can rearrange columns up here. You can hide show columns. You can save a user default view. You can filter. By default, everything in kits only pertains to your repository. So if you're in a multi-repository database, you will only be able to see kit supplies and kit centers and templates and kits defined for your repository. Also, by default, it shows you all the kits, the supplies that are available to you. So you can, once the supply is expired, you can mark it as unavailable, and it won't be shown by default on your filter. However, you can always change the filter through the standard search dialog. So now I'm going to show you how to add a new supply item to your list of items that can go in kits. So I'm going to go over here to New. And what opens is the new supply item dialog, and I can pick the supply type, which is from lookup supply type. So these supply types are shared by the whole database. It's from on code lists. You can add new supply types. Here I have some gloves and a couple different tubes. So say I'm going to add a new red top tube. I can also add a lot number. So I would type in the lot number for this group of tubes. I can give a count. This is the count that are in this particular package. I can pick a company that the tubes came from. The company is also a code list, lookup company, and it's shared by the whole database for suppliers. I can make this supply my default. So you can pick a group of supplies, a box of supplies, to be your default box when filling a kit. So I'm always going to pick from this box to start with. And then when the box runs out, we'll let you know that you have to pick another default. I can pick a location in location management. I'm going to put these in this tissue room. just to say where this supply box, this box of tubes is located. The box of tubes will not show up on the location tree in location management, but you can reference real quickly where it's at when you go to look at the supplier on the manager. I can enter an expiration date, so maybe these expire at the end of the month or at a future date. If I add these supplies to a kit, the kit expiration date will get populated with the earliest expiration date for any of the supplies in it. And notifications go out for that expiration date for the kit. So they go out to the sites if the kits happen to be at the site, and to the repository. They start 30 days before the kit is set to expire. I can set my status of my supply group, my box of tubes. Available means I can add it to kits. Unavailable means that it's no longer available to add to kits. And deleted, I can delete it if I've never added any of these supplies to a kit before, if I've made a mistake doing entry. And then I can add a label for the supply type. So maybe I want to, barcode each of the boxes as I add the supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and save my supply. And when I do, it'll show up here on the supply manager. So here's my, I believe this one, my new red top tube, and then some data, the data that was in that properties dialog that I want to see about my supplies. So here's where I define all of the supplies that I have in inventory that I'm going to put in kits. The count will get decremented as you add the supplies to kits, and if you return the kits, the supplies back, so you take apart a kit and put the supplies back into inventory, the counts will get incremented. You can also edit and delete kit supply groups from this manager. Again, you can only delete a group if it hasn't been added to a kit before. So that's kit supplies. That's defining what can go into my kits. Next, I can define my centers. So these are the centers, the collection centers by study, because there's some data that I might want to capture for each study, even though a collection center might be collecting from multiple studies. So I'm defining my collection centers by study here. Again, typical manager and BSI fields up here that you can hide, show, rearrange, save a view, a filter that you can change. By default, it shows all your active centers that you've defined for your repository. So again, everything in kits is by repository. You won't be able to see other repositories' kits info. So to create a new center, I simply go to New, and the Studies Collection Center Properties opens. I will give it a center name, and then you can give it a status. Active being you can ship kits to the center. Inactive is no longer active to ship kits to. You might still have some kits there that they're going to send back, but you can no longer ship to the center. And deleted, if I've never shipped a kit to the center and I've entered it accidentally, I can delete the center. You can also delete from the manager. I will pick a center ID. So most databases have a lookup center table. So I can pick a center ID. So this is the site that is collecting for this study. So I can also pick a study too. And then I can pick a contact ID from the list of users and available contacts for my collection center. This is the ID, this is the contact information that notifications for that center will go to. The repository ID just defaults to the user's current repository. Kits sent to center are the number of kits that I have sent to the center. Currently it's 0 because it's a new center. Notification threshold. I can enter a value so that if the kit's currently at the center, so this kit's at site, if it goes below this notification threshold, the repository will get emailed daily that they have to resupply the center, that, hey, you need to send more kits to the center for this study. The created by defaults to the user's name. Again, I can pick a study. Collection centers are created by center and study for kits. New kit min shelf life. So once I send the kit to the center, this is the minimum shelf life. So if the number of days exceeds the value that I have here, you'll start getting notifications that, hey, this kit's been sitting on the center shelves for a long time. Kits at site is calculated by the system when you send and receive kits, and kits received by repositories, the total number of kits received by the repository from this study collection center. So to add the collection center, I simply press save, and it'll show up, oops, and close this. I don't want to exit. It'll show up on my collection center manager as active. Again, I can delete collection centers if I've never sent a kit to them, and I can also edit collection centers from here. And then I can see, a bunch of data right here on the editor, like the number of kits at site, how many I've sent, and how many I've received, and then also some information about when the collection center, the study collection center, was created. So the next manager in kits is kit templates. So this is where I can define a template to say what goes in a kit when I build the kit. So you may, for instance, want to define your templates by study, or you may want to define them by study and visit, or study and type of draw. So to create a template, I simply go to the New button. The first thing I need to do is enter a name for my template. Pick a study ID that the template is related to. The study ID is optional. You can also have just generic templates as well. They don't have to be associated with the study. And I'll say OK. And my kit template editor opens. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a line for each different supply type that I'm adding to the kit. So let me add a couple rows. And I can pick the supply type from the list of supply types on Lookup Supply Type. So maybe I need some gloves in this kit. I can specify whether the gloves are going to be returned with the kit or not. In this case, no, I don't want them back. I can specify whether a label is required. No, I'm not going to label my gloves. And I can give a count of how many gloves I need to put in the kit, so maybe 2. And then I can specify, say I'm putting a bunch of different kinds of tubes in my kit. And then I can specify whether the tubes are returned, whether they require a label. Just like all dialogues in BSI, all editors, I can set a value through mass change. So I'm going to require that all of these tubes have a label, and I'm going to put one of each kind in my kit. So now I have a template for the kit that when I go to build the kit, the people who are filling the kit can use this template in order to see what needs to go in the kit for this study. So I can go ahead and save. And then my template, my kit template, will show up here on my manager of available templates. Now, if I'm no longer using a template, I can go ahead and delete it, and I can edit templates from this manager as well. So the final manager in the Kits module is the Inventory Manager. So this is where you manage your kit inventory. Each kit that you build gets a unique ID, starting with K, the current year, and a 6-digit unique number. And then here's a whole bunch of information that I filled out about my kits, including a status. You can see this one's expired because one of the components is expired. This one I've shipped and received back, and these are available for shipment. So to create a new kit, I can press the New button, and I get kit properties. So the first thing I want to do is fill out the properties of my kit, including a current label. The current label can be anything. You may want it to be a sample ID. It has to be unique for the kit. So I'm going to give mine a sample ID current label. And I'm going to pick a study ID that this kit is going out for. The courier tracking number and study collection center will get filled in when you ship the kit. Just like supplies, I can also pick a location for the kit so I can see where I'm storing them. Kits will not show up on the location tree in locations, but you can easily see from the kit manager or from the kit editor here where the kits are stored. I can give my kit a status, available by default, shipped, received. Expired means shipped, received, and expired will update automatically depending on the actions that you perform here. Expired, again, is when the components are expired in the kit, so the earliest expiration date of a component in the kit. Users, and if the kit's at a collection site, the sites will get notifications starting 30 days prior to when a kit expires. And deleted. So the kit hasn't been sent out, it's no longer active, I'm taking it apart, I want to delete the record for it. So I'm going to keep my status as active. Again, the expiration date gets filled in automatically from the earliest expiration date of a kit component, and repository ID defaults to my repository ID, and then I can pick a kit template. So maybe I want to use this template to say what I need to put in my kit. So once I fill out kit properties, I can press OK. So now what I'm seeing is the kit editor, and I'll go ahead and make this bigger. And what it's showing is all of the things in my template that need to be in the kit. So you can see that a label is required for my tubes, I need to fill 2 gloves, and the status is currently empty. So to go ahead and fill, you can click on an item and go to the Fill button. It'll ask you to save your kit. First I have to fill in my labels for my tubes. So maybe I'm going to give these BSI labels. Maybe I want them barcoded with the BSI ID. You can also print labels from this dialog or from this editor as well. So now once I fill in my default information, maybe I want to fill in a sample ID as well. I can go ahead and fill my supplies. I can press the Fill button if I want to pick them one by one. So I can look and see I have 2 boxes of gloves that are available. Which ones do I want to use? I'll use this one, and you notice the supply goes to filled. I can also autofill, so remember back when I created the supplies I set some of the boxes as default, then I want to automatically default from those. So if I press the autofill button, I can fill all my empty components based from the default boxes. So it'll fill in, you notice if there's a lot number and an expiration date associated with the supply, it'll fill it in when I fill the supply in the kit. So once I've done that, I can save my kit. So this kit is now available to ship. When you fill a component, the supply count that you've entered in supplies automatically decrements. I can also empty a component from a kit. So if I wanted to empty this glove, I can say empty this, and then I'm going to be asked if I'm going to restock it. So yes, I'm going to restock this, and the status goes to empty. I'm going to go ahead and refill it. So now I've refilled it. Again, you can print labels from the dialog here. If I'm creating lots of kits of this same type, I can duplicate the kit, so it'll duplicate the kit properties and also the contents. It'll fill the kit from the same batches of supplies that you filled this kit with. So I'll go ahead and duplicate. Yep. I'm going to open the duplicated kit for editing. So here's my duplicated kit. I may want to go in and change some properties. For instance, if I wanted to change the label, I can change the label. And then I might want to edit some of the properties inside my kit. Like, I don't want these to have the same label as my previous kit, so I'll give them new labels. And then I'll save. The supplies will be decremented, and now I've got 2 kits. So if you're creating multiple kits of the same type, you can just keep on duplicating, and you have to do a little bit of updating to update the labels and the properties of your kit. So I'm going to close these. And you can see now I have these kits available to ship out to collection sites. So I can ship multiple kits at once. So I can go ahead and select a bunch and press the ship button. And here's where I'll enter the center name that I'm shipping out to, the courier, and the tracking number. You can send to multiple collection centers at once as well. I am going to mass change these and send to one, actually. I'll just do it this way. So I'm filling in what collection centers I'm sending the kits to. I can fill out a courier as well. And then I can fill in a tracking number for my shipment. Maybe they go under different tracking numbers, maybe they're all the same. And then I can press OK. The status of these kits will update to ship, and you notice that the collection center, the date shipped, and the courier and the tracking number also get filled in. So that's basically everything you can do from the inventory manager. Now, when this expiration date is reached and the kit is still active or shipped, notifications will start to go out and the status will update to expired. So notifications will go out starting 30 days prior to the expiration date to the collection centers if they're shipped and to the repository. So that's creating kits. Now, if you were to receive a kit, you would do that at incoming shipments, just like you would receive a normal kit shipment. So I would go to New and create my shipment. So I'm going to enter some just default data that I know I'm going to have. Obviously, you would enter more data here and say OK and save my shipment. So now my shipment is in transit. And then when I'm ready to receive, I can press Receive, enter my receipt properties as usual, edit my my shipment, and then go to Tools, Receive Kits, or the Receive Kits icon. And I can scan in my labels on my kits if I've received them back. If I want to use the is returned, so remember when we created the kits, we specified whether some of the supplies are coming back. If I wanted to populate my shipment batch with those supplies that are coming back, I can press this checkbox, Add Kit Components to Shipment for selected kits, and say OK. And now my shipment is populated with all of the information that I filled in the kit, including the sample ID and the current label of the components that I'm getting back. And I can save my shipment and process my shipment like I usually would. So that's the kit changes very simply, very quickly. I will be happy to take questions. I will be happy to show anything over again. Please feel free to enter your questions via the GoToMeeting interface. So there are currently 2 questions. Is there a quick way to make 100 kits? Well, the quick way is that duplicate kit. In the future, we may add, depending on user request, a way to generate kits. Put in your starting label, increment by, here's your kit template, generate kits, a lot of kits at once. But right now, the quick way is the duplicate. So you would press duplicate or tools duplicate. It would open a new kit editor. And then you would have to change some data. For instance, I might want to add a unique label. And save my kit. And I can keep duplicating and duplicating and duplicating. So right now this is the quick way. Depending on, again, this is the first iteration of kits, so depending on user need and user request, we could certainly add another way to quickly generate kits. The next question is, could you explain new kit min shelf life again? Sure. So if I go to a center and edit my center, I have a new kit min shelf life. So this is the number of days a kit can sit at the center before you get notification. So it's saying how many days the kit is on the shelf at the center. After 20 days of it just sitting there, send out notifications that this kit has been sitting there for a while. It is not a required field. It is optional. If you don't, well, it is a required field, but you can enter a 0 for it. So again, it's the number of days a kit can sit at the collection site. After that specified number of days, users will start getting notifications that the repository and the collection site, I believe, will get notifications that the kit has been sitting there for quite some time. Would you please demonstrate receiving kits again? Sure. Let me go to my kit inventory and see what's available, what's been shipped. So 2003, 2004. If I go to shipments, and I've set up my shipment that an impending shipment is coming, and I go to an in-transit shipment and press receive, I'd fill out my receive properties as usual. And then when I go to edit my shipment, I can say receive kits. I would scan in or type in the kit label. So I can do multiple kits at once. It doesn't like that label. And then if I wanted to populate the kit with the components that I specified, remember when I set up my template, I specified what was coming back. I can click this Add Kit Components to Shipment for selected kits. And if I say OK, all the components and the data that I added for the components are added back into my shipment batch. And then I can go ahead and scan an inventory and add data for my shipment batch like I normally do. So just to show you, when I set up my template, I said is returned. And I said, yes, these tubes are going to be returned. And those are the tubes that populate my shipment batch. Also, when I create my kits, I have the opportunity to change the is returned or set the is returned value. So this is what's coming back to the repository after collection. And when you receive them, this is what you can select to populate your shipment batch with. How do you swap out kit components if the kit expires? Can you send new components to the site and then enter the info in BSI? So if components expire, I can go here and I can edit the kit. Say, okay, yeah, I want to edit it. And then what I can do is find the expired components and say, remove those. These are already at the site, maybe. They're going to be thrown away, so I'll say no, don't restock. And then I can basically either autofill or fill in new components in my kit. So I would imagine that you would also send these components for the kit to the site too. But that's basically how you get rid of an expired component. If I save my kit now, you can see that it's no longer expired. It's now available, and I get a new expiration date. When receiving a kit, can we populate material type, etc. in the shipment batch? You can populate those just like you usually do, either by importing or typing them in currently. In the future, depending on user request, we may add more fields here or let you define what fields here to fill in. So we could certainly add maybe material type here for you to fill in. That'll get populated in the shipment batch. So essentially this label and the sample ID get populated in the shipment batch, but as requested by users, we could add more fields here, some vial level fields to get populated in the shipment batch when a kit is received. Is contact ID from the collection center or the repos contact making the kits? No, contact ID, when I set up my centers here, the contact ID is for the collection center. This is who gets the notifications. The repository, the email associated with the repository destination will also get notifications. Does a kit at center decrement automatically when a kit is sent back to shipper? Is the shipment back to shipper only way to adjust number of kits? The kit at center decrements when you receive a kit, and you cannot edit it manually. So yes, so when you receive a kit back from the center, or the kit at center will adjust. Is the label field a required field? Yes. The label field is a required field. When you duplicate a kit, we automatically put in the kit ID for the label unless you change it, but it is a required field for a kit. Can you scan in labels while creating kits? Sure. A scanner is just like a keyboard wedge. You can click in a cell and scan. So, sure. When you go to create the kit, so say I filled in my required fields, I can scan in labels here. Again, just like a keyboard wedge, you just put your cursor in the cell, scan a label, scan a label, scan a label. You can do that anywhere in the system also. So those are the questions that I have already. Again, I'll post them on the bsi-ii.com website. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes to see if any other questions come in. But I do encourage you, if you have access to demo or would like access to the demo database, to please try this out. Do you have to type in labels for each kit? You can either type them in or you can scan them in. So you could type in a label here or you can scan in a label if you already have the labels pre-printed. And then in the kit itself, when you fill the supplies, you can type in a label, you can mass change to create a label, or you can scan in the label. Yeah, these are the tubes that go in. So what about the tubes that go into the kit? So these are the tubes that are going into the kit, and these are the labels that I'm adding for them. Again, I can type them in, I can scan them in, I can mass change them in, I can even import them in if I wanted to, and I can also print labels from this dialog. So I'm going to wait and see if there's any other questions. Will it verify that a label is not duplicated in prior kits? The kit label cannot be, has to be unique, and it will also verify so my kit label has to be unique, and then it will also verify that any sample IDs used are unique as well. But I don't think it actually checks the so my sample ID is not unique, but I don't think it actually checks the label of the component. Let's see. I can try that right now. Oh, that's this. So you can see you get all kinds of notifications regarding the sample ID and the kit label, but the kit component labels do not have to be unique. There was a question, will the answers to the questions be listed under news in the BSI website? No, they'll be listed under support and webinars. So there is, under the support page, there is a webinar page where it has all of the current webinars and previous webinars, and I'll also put the questions there. Are there any plans to create a kit template that can be used to receive several kits at the same time in the shipments module? You can already apply templates to shipments, and you can already receive several kits at the same time in shipments, so perhaps I don't understand the question. So here's a shipment, and I can receive multiple kits by scanning in multiple kit labels here. It doesn't matter what template the kits were created under, I can still receive them in one shipment. But there is an underlying shipment template that can be applied as well. Any other questions? Again, I'll be happy to take questions offline. And this webinar is going to be posted on the www.bsi-ii.com website along with the list of questions and answers. So feel free to look at the webinar again, feel free to take a look at the written answers to the questions, and feel free to try out kits on demo, and we would really appreciate your feedback. Again, this is the first iteration, and like always, we are happy to make changes to the system based on customer need. So thank you for your time and have a good morning.